Hi, I'm Sophie, a single mom and a graphic designer. The morning sun poured through the kitchen window, casting a warm golden glow perfect for Sophie's 7th birthday. The room buzzed with energy, filled with colorful balloons and streamers as I rushed around, determined to make everything just right for my daughter. Sophie, practically bouncing with excitement, had her face lit up with pure joy. "Mommy, is the cake going to be here soon?" she asked, her voice brimming with anticipation. "Any minute now, sweetie. Grandma Lily is bringing your special unicorn cake," I assured her, though a knot of worry tightened in my stomach. Between work and preparing for the party, I trusted Lily to handle the cake. Just then my phone buzzed. It was Lily. "Hey Lily, everything okay with the cake?" There was a pause before she responded. "Oh Sophie, I'm so sorry, there's been a mix-up. I accidentally took the cake to Ethan's house. I got the dates mixed up." Her voice sounded apologetic, but something didn't feel right. "Lily, the party starts in an hour. How could this happen?" I tried to keep calm, but panic started creeping in. I know, I'm terribly sorry. I'll figure something out," she replied, flustered. But was she really? I hung up, my mind racing. Sophie looked up at me with worried eyes. "Mommy, what about my cake?" Kneeling beside her, I forced a smile. "There's been a little hiccup, honey, but guess what? We're going to make an even better cake, a homemade unicorn cake. What do you say?" Her eyes lit up with excitement. "Can we really make a unicorn cake, Mommy?" "Yes, we can, and it's going to be the most magical unicorn cake ever." With that, the kitchen transformed into our own little bakery. Flour flew, eggs cracked, and laughter filled the room as we mixed, poured, and baked. Our hands and faces were smeared with batter, and together we created a slightly lopsided but charming unicorn cake, decorated with a patchwork of sprinkles and homemade frosting. As guests started to arrive, my anxiety returned, but Sophie probably showed off our creation. "Look at our cake, Mom," she beamed. "Sophie, this is incredible. How did you pull this off?" Tom, another mom, asked, clearly impressed. "Just a little creativity and a lot of love," I replied, feeling a swell of pride. Compliments poured in, and before I knew it, people were saying, "This cake is amazing. You should start a baking business." Sophie, watching Sophie bask in her friends' admiration, her earlier disappointment forgotten, filled me with warmth. She laughed, played, and showed me in her little world, and in that moment I realized something. No matter what Lily had tried to do, she couldn't take away this joy. The party was a hit. Sophie's face glowed as she blew out her birthday candles, her friends cheering around her. It was beautiful. Chaos, laughter, singing, and excited chatter. That night, after the last guest had left, Sophie wrapped her arms around me in a tight hug. "This was the best birthday ever, Mommy. I love you so much." "I love you too, sweetie, more than anything," I whispered, hugging her close. Later, sitting alone in the quiet living room with a cup of tea, I reflected on the day. Despite the success, Lily's actions still gnawed at me. Her apology didn't sit right, and I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. But the joy in Sophie's eyes had outshone everything else. I knew then that I had to get to the bottom of Lily's behavior. This was only the beginning. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, Unraveling the Truth. The next few days I couldn't stop thinking about Lily's cake mix-up. Her apology felt hollow, and I was determined to find out the truth. "You really think it wasn't an accident?" Tom asked, wide-eyed, as we sat in my living room sipping coffee. "I'm not sure, but something doesn't add up," I replied, a mixture of apprehension and determination welling up inside me. To dig deeper, I casually asked Sophie's Aunt Tara about the cake incident. "Oh, Lily was so proud of getting that cake for Ethan. She's been planning it for weeks," Tara mentioned without realizing the weight of her words. "Weeks." My heart sank. This wasn't Just a simple mix-up. It was deliberate. Anger and sadness swirled inside me, but I knew I needed to keep calm. Over the next few days I paid close attention to how Lily treated both Sophie and Ethan. The difference was glaring. While she doted on Ethan, Sophie barely received a fraction of that affection. One evening Sophie innocently asked Mommy, "Why doesn't Grandma like playing with me as much?" Her question broke my heart. I hugged her tightly, trying to mask my emotions. "She loves you, sweetie. She just shows it differently." But inside I was angry. This wasn't just about favoritism anymore. It was emotional manipulation, and I couldn't allow it to continue. I needed a plan, and soon I would confront Lily, but I knew I needed solid evidence before confronting her to ensure Lily understood the impact of her actions. So I began documenting everything: dates, times, specific instances of favoritism, and relevant conversations. One day I ran into Lily at the grocery store. She tried to engage in small talk, but I kept it brief. "Lily, we need to talk about the kids," I said firmly. "Oh, what about them?" she asked, her voice laced with faint innocence. "Not here. Let's meet for coffee next week," I suggested, wanting to have the conversation in a neutral setting. "All right, if you insist," she replied, her eyes narrowing slightly as the day of our meeting approached. My anxiety grew. I knew this confrontation would be tough, but it was necessary. Sophie's well-being was my priority, and I couldn't allow Lily's behavior to continue unchecked. The day finally arrived. We met at a cozy cafe, the air thick with unspoken tension. "So what is this about?" Lily asked casually, though her eyes were wary. "It's about Sophie and Ethan," I began, keeping my voice steady. "I've noticed how differently you treat them, and it's not fair to Sophie." "What are you implying, Sophie?" Lily's voice sharpened defensively. "I'm not implying anything. I've seen it. The cake incident was just the start." "Why, Lily? Why do you favor Ethan over Sophie?" I pressed my emotions, a mix of anger and sadness. Lily hesitated, her facade beginning to crack. "It's complicated, Sophie. You wouldn't understand." "I need to understand," I insisted, my resolve growing stronger. "Sophie is your granddaughter too." The conversation was tense, Lily oscillating between denial and vague justifications, but I held my ground, making it clear that her behavior had to change. As I walked out of the cafe, I felt a swirl of emotions: relief that I had stood up for Sophie, but uncertainty about what would come next. It was up to Lily now to reflect on her actions and make amends, but I knew this was just the beginning of a longer journey. The atmosphere was festive at the annual family gathering, but beneath my outward smile I was a bundle of nerves. I moved through the crowd, making small talk while keeping an eye on Lily, waiting for the right moment. She was laughing and chatting as if she hadn't a care in the world, which only strengthened my resolve. Finally I saw my chance. Lily was alone, refilling her drink. I took a deep breath and approached her. "Lily, can we talk in private?" I asked. She looked surprised but nodded, following me to a quieter corner of the room. "I wanted to talk about Sophie and Ethan. I seen how differently you treat them, and it's not fair you do on Ethan." "And barely acknowledged Sophie," I said, my voice firm but filled with emotion. "You're imagining things, Sophie. This is ridiculous." She scoffed, though her eyes avoided mine. "I'm not, and it's not just me who's noticed. Others have too. It's hurting Sophie, and I can't let it continue," I said, my voice rising slightly. The congress intensified as Lily tried to deny everything, but I calmly presented the evidence I gathered. Our voices had drawn the attention of nearby family members, who began to drift closer, overhearing the exchange. "Lily, this needs to stop. You're playing favorites, and it's harmful," I said, emotions swelling in my chest. Finally Lily facade cracked. "All right, maybe I've been more attentive to Ethan, but It's only because she needs more support that's no excuse to neglect Sophie. She's your granddaughter too, I replied, my voice steady. By now the room had gone quiet. Family members stood watching, their faces a mix of shock and disbelief. Lily looked around, realizing the extent of her exposure. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, she stammered, her voice shaky. It's not just about your intentions, Lily, it's about the impact your actions have. Consequences, I said, standing firm. The Lily tried to apologize and offer excuses. It was too late. The truth was out as the confrontation ended. The room buzzed with whispers, and it was clear that everyone saw Lily in a new light. In the days that followed, family dynamics began to shift. Lily, once the respected matriarch, was now more isolated, her usual charm failing to mask the revelations that had come to light. Meanwhile, Sophie seemed happier and more at ease, blissfully unaware of the deeper family drama that was all that mattered to me. The confrontation had been difficult, but it had opened everyone's eyes to Lily's true behavior, and it was a turning point in our family's journey toward a healthier, more honest dynamic. In the wake of the confrontation with Lily, my life underwent a period of significant transformation. My career as a GRA designer flourished with newfound creativity and recognition. Clients were not only satisfied but thrilled, leading to more referrals and exciting projects. But most importantly, Sophie and I find a deeper sense of happiness and peace in our everyday lives. Our home was filled with her laughter, a testament to the positive changes we had embraced. Mom, you're like the coolest mom ever. Look at all these people loving your designs, Sophie exclaimed one evening, scrolling through my social media feed, her eyes wide with awe. I smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. We make a great team, don't we, sweetie? Together we can do anything. Meanwhile, Lily's situation within the family took a starkly different turn. Once a powerful figure, she now faced the repercussions of her actions. I heard about her struggles through family members, their tones varying from pity to disdain. Lily tried to organize family events, but her invitations were politely declined or met with local responses. Firmly and without much fanfare, Lily's calls and messages went unanswered. More often than not, at a family barbecue, I witnessed firsthand the extent of her fall from grace. She tried to mingle, but her presence was met with polite nods and quick exits. The days when family members saw her advice or laughed at her jokes were long gone. Now they exchanged uncomfortable glances and found excuses to walk away. Did you see how Aunt Lily was practically ignored when she tried to join the card game? One of my cousins whispered to me. Yeah, it's sad, but after what happened with Sophie, people are seeing her true colors, I replied, feeling a mix of vindication and sadness for the situation. The shift in how the family treated me was palpable. Where I was once nearly Lily's daughter-in-law, I was now seen as a strong, independent individual who had stood up for her child. My opinions were sought after and my company was valued, a stark contrast to Lily's grown GR isolation. Amidst this changing dynamic, Sophie's next birthday arrived, determined to make it special and drama-free. I organized a small, intimate party at our home. The joy and laughter that filled our house that day were a far cry from the chaos of the previous year. This is the best birthday ever. Mom, you're the best, Sophie beamed, surrounded by her friends watching her happiness. I felt an overwhelming sense of pride and relief. We had not only overcome the challenges of the past year but had emerged stronger and closer. That night, after the guests had left and Sophie was tucked into bed, I sat alone reflecting on everything. It had been a journey of growth and empowerment. Standing up to Lily had been hard, but it had paved the way for a new life, one where Stuffy and I could thrive without the Shadow of manipulation and favoritism. A text from Lily interrupted my thoughts. I realize I've lost a lot. I'm sorry for everything. Maybe one day we can talk. Reading her words, I felt a complex mix of emotions. There was a sense of justice in seeing her face the consequences of her actions, but also a hint of sadness for the strain on our family bond. As I turned off the lights and settled into bed, I felt a deep sense of contentment and peace. Sophie and I had faced our challenges head-on and emerged stronger for it. Our journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the importance of standing up for what's right, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her daughter. With our story coming to a close, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Sophie made the right decision in how she handled the situation with Lily? Was there a better way to address the favoritism and its impact on Sophie, or do you feel her approach was justified given the circumstances? This situation touches on deep family dynamics and the choices we make to protect our loved ones. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this story and the journey we shared, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Your support helps keep these stories coming. Thank you for watching and being part of our story today.